It's like Black Sabbath stuff, but just really heavy.
Ah! They're from L.A.?
Yeah, I think so.
Jesus.
They have this T-shirt, and it's like this scary woman in garters. And she's got like some rope around a guy's head or something. He's between her legs, and it says, "Smell the magic."
This is a band for one of MTV shows, I'm sure. What's the thing on Sundays at midnight? They get on there. Oh, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. Only 3 people have ever seen it. 20 minutes is moving now. Revolutionary change.
Okay, Kurt.
Okay, are we going?
We have speed?
Yep.
Okay. How's it feel to be back on stage? You know?
It feels great. It feels great. I mean, we've been, planning, this for ever since we started. We've been aiming at, we wanted our second major album. We wanted a headlining tour, and to do it right. And it feels great. We think we got all the pieces in the right place, and the morale's really high.
Yeah.
And actually, now that we're starting the tour, everybody's going to be starting to get in more shape while we're playing and stuff. Brought a trainer and everything, and just into doing our job we've set out to do our whole lives.
Is there a fundamental difference in what's going on in the band now that you have a completely new drummer and a keyboard player too? And has it changed the music at all, or just the scope of the sound?
Well, Matt's really solid, and everybody in the band can rely on Matt's playing.
Yeah.
The drums are like your anchor, and he's definitely the strongest anchor we've ever had, and one of the best drummers that there are, I think, in the world. And because every show I'm more amazed by. I mean, the record is.
Somebody turn the light out on you. But they apologize. Oh.
The record's like Guns N' Roses.
Okay, we're rolling again.
Okay, so the records are really coming out, right? They'll definitely be upon us soon.
I'm actually going to be recording some stuff here to finish it up.
In Wisconsin?
Recording on the road, yeah.
Oh.
Finishing up, but we went through mastering of like 25 of the songs right before I left.
Yeah.
And we went through all the approval of lyrics and all that stuff, and the artwork's all coming together, and yeah, it's definitely coming out.
All right, good. Why did you decide to put it out as 2 separate records when, of course, it could have been a double gatefold spread, single album?
Well, on album form, on the wax, it's 4 albums, because we wanted to have the deepest grooves and stuff for. Since vinyl's somewhat going out, we wanted to be one of the last bands doing the best job we could for, audio files and stuff. The deepest grooves and a minimal amount of time on each side. And figuring out the sequencing was really hard, trying to, to start each side and end each side with a cool song so it sounded like it began and ended right, resolved properly. And the CDs and the tapes being, 2 separate things, we were like going, well, a lot of kids and a lot of people, when they go to buy a record, they go to buy one, and they won't be able to, it's like, if there's a choice, well, I'd like to get Guns N' Roses, but it's $29.95,
right.
and this other band's $12. Oh, I'll get that one. We're like, maybe we can, get past that a little bit.
Pass there.
You can buy one or the other.
How does it sound better, on CD or on vinyl?
I'm sure it will sound better on CD. We work to make it sound stronger on CD, but we're gonna, definitely work on the mastering to get the best sound we can on the vinyl. Everything gets as much attention as anything else. Every single song's got as much attention as any one song. Every little part, we're kind of perfectionists who never quite get it right, but.
Is there some sort of different concept for each of these records? I mean, is there a different mood for each one, or?
Well, I'd say the first half of the first CD is more in line with Appetite. It's all new songs. And the second half of the first CD has Coma and November Rain and The Garden. So some really experimental numbers for us. And then I'd say the first half of the second one is The South Will Rise Again. We didn't plan on that, but there's it's like Heaven's Door and Civil War and song Yesterdays and a song called Breakdown that definitely have a bit of a southern rock feel.
Wow.
That like I'd say Paradise City, like in the chorus, kind of has that, and Sweet Child kind of has that, and it ended up the best sequencing to make the record flow all the way through. We didn't plan on putting all those songs in that vein together, but to make the record flow all the way through, so if you wanted to listen to all of it, that's the best way. You know. And there'll be a version of Don't Cry on both records, one on the first one and one on the second. And the one on the first one is the newly recorded version of the original lyrics, and then the second one is the newly recorded version of alternative lyrics. They're kind of like 91 updates, got different words and melody in the verses, and it just kind of happened while I was recording the other one. We were like, I mean, that's the song that, you know, basically is why one of the reasons we got signed. And people in LA that have been our fans since we started playing clubs were always bummed we never put it on record, but we were kind of trying to save what we considered one of our ace cards, because we didn't know if we'd sell 5 records, you know, or what.
Have the lyrics changed, like, radically? Are they more upbeat now, or?
I don't know that it's more upbeat or anything. It's just kind of where my head's at with that song now. You know, rather than making a nostalgia piece, you know, when we do the new one or hear it. And a lot of people that liked the original and it was their favorite song, you know, the license plates that say Don't Cry or whatever, heard the new one and kind of flip out, like, how did you do that? I don't know. But, you know, when we were in the studio, I was like, I don't know what's happening, Mike, but just let me go with it. You know, and it worked out really nice. And my friend Shannon Hoon's in a band, Blind Melon, and he's from Indiana, and they were doing Don't Cry back there. They got a bootleg demo tape in Lafayette, and I didn't even know him. I'd known his sister. But he has a really gorgeous voice, so we do like kind of a duet on the songs.
Oh, wow.
He sings on 4 songs. He sings on The Garden, and sings on You Ain't the First.
Well, there's a lot of other vocalists on this, right? I mean, is he singing songs?
Yeah, I mean, I worked on bringing the other people out with what they did. I thought what they did best. You know, we still haven't worked it out on stage how we do it yet. You know, but
is there going to be a point where you're going to be able to play like all this material on stage? Could you really perform it all on stage?
You know, a dream I have is to get to where I can do a 3-hour show. And right now we don't use a set list. We just pick song to song on how it feels and what we think we can perform best and what I think vocally I can do best, because it's still warming up. I figure, you know, we're going to go out and give as much as we can every time, but I figure a real Guns N' Roses show, what we're shooting for, hopefully I might have in 6 months. I mean, remember that thing I told you last time? It's like Jagger was working on getting that stage thing together for a really long time, you know, and learned a lot from him. You know, so we're hoping that in 6 months we can actually have different set orders and things and have it planned out so it's a lot more dramatic. You know, and there'll be additions to the stage setup and the lighting and things like that. We didn't use, right now because of my heel, we're not using a lot of the stage setup that we have. We have extra ramps and ramps coming out in the middle, fully lighted, and we're not using any of that at this particular time.
Dizzy said he's hoping that there'll be some sort of like sign language so that he'll know what the next song is when the rest of the guys
we're working it out, you know, little by little. We're trying.
What exactly happened to how did you do this to your foot?
I've just had a chronic history of bruising my heel and messing up the ligament, but never couldn't afford it at the time when it happened, when I was like in junior high and stuff, to figure out what was wrong. And then about a week ago, we played the Ritz in New York, and I got really excited and was just jumping off everything. And, you know, there's a lot of photos of me like 10 feet in the air and stuff. And came down really hard on my heel when I was jumping, not even on stage, off the stage, and landed on my heel on a cement floor with no cushioning in my boots. And just messed up the ligament and stuff, but the doctors seemed to think it'll be fine. We had like all the top doctors from the Brewers and the Packers and New Balance shoes all working on designing me something so I could run around, because yesterday, well, without this, it's definitely limping, but you know, we didn't want to call the show, you know.
So none of them tried to tell you should really take 6 months off and just stay off your foot?
Well, we wasted Slash. Slash came in yesterday, they put a test cast, and they're putting this cast on me. Got all the plaster going and everything, and we bring Slash in, and there's 3 doctors all over me. The guy looks at Slash, he's like, "Yeah, it's going to be 6 weeks off, and there's a good chance there'll be surgery every 12 weeks.